I want to show you something called the stress bucket analogy. And what the stress bucket analogy is just like a computer that is full of viruses, full of programs open, where the RAM and the hard drive is over 75% plus capacity. And it's just running slow. It's running sluggish because all of the bandwidth is being taken up by stuff that just really doesn't need to be there. Now, our body is much the same way. If our internal RAM, if our internal hard drive is being taken up by all these programs and clutter and viruses, in which what we call it superhuman, your body's hidden stressors. Let's say we were to dump all of those into a stress bucket, and let's say that stress bucket is out of 100, just for simplicity's sake. Now, let me ask you, what do you think your stress bucket is at? It could be external stressors like deadlines, like relationship stress, that email you have to send out, whatever it is, that bill that you have to pay. That is one form of stress, which is external stress. But the other form of stress, which a lot of people don't realize because most people think they have the external stresses figured out, it's called internal stress, hidden stress. This could be things like a gut parasite, heavy metal, mold, H. pylori. It could be your thyroid is running slow, your brain neurotransmitters are off, you've got unconscious stuff in your mind. It could be forms of trauma that just have to be released. It could be the way that you're operating your day is in a way that's aligned to your genetics. Like there's so much there. And let's say we're to add those internal stressors to your stress bucket. Well, now if we add the internal stressors plus the external ones, what do you think right now your stress bucket is at? Would your stress bucket be at 75% capacity? Or do you feel like it's already at 100% capacity and there's no room for movement and you're just tired all the time? Or you could be feeling pretty okay, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, but you're truly not thriving. You're truly not experiencing greatness right now. And you know that there's still stuff left in the tank. And people might say, oh, it's just age, just get over it. It's a natural part of the process. But inside you probably think, no, I know I'm capable of more. There's something inside of there I know I can tap into. And that's the case for a lot of people. And let me tell you, well, your suspicion is probably right. Because here's the thing. These stressors that are inside of our stress bucket, all we need to do is the same way that they came back in, we just have to take them out again. And when we do so, just like that computer that now has 100% or 10% of its RAM now available, 90% of its RAM now available, our body now has way more bandwidth to do the things that we want to do because there's not these weights that are holding us down where it feels like a lead blanket is, on us 24/7. What could that look like? Well, if that stress bucket for you is overflowing, that could be brain fog, could be fatigue, could be anxiety, it could be burnout. And ultimately, it's when that stress bucket is overflowing. Again, everybody is different. Some people might have a stress bucket of 50. Some people might have 100. Some people might have 1,000. Some people might have 5,000. You might know people who they smoke, they drink, they're always stressed, and sometimes they are just operating like they feel fine. Or the guy who's has a bad diet all the time, he doesn't sleep, but he seems to find a way to just always have energy. And there's these freaking anomalies too, but let me tell you, it's probably less than 3% of the population. And if that's not you, like the majority of us, even those people too still need to adopt a framework like this. But if that isn't you, then you really have to double down on this and think about your symptoms as signs to the root cause of what is actually happening. So don't think of your brain fog, anxiety, fatigue, or burnout as just this identity thing like, oh, my name is Fred and I am tired and I have fatigue because this thing happened to me in the past. No, what you want to think is this, what I'm experiencing, let's say, for example, it's brain fog. There's a reason for this. Why am I experiencing brain fog? Well, I'll tell you this. If we actually do lab testing on people, we'll sometimes see they have gut parasites. So they're not absorbing the nutrients in the food that they're eating properly. That's causing their brain neurotransmitters to not be sufficiently balanced and thriving in a way that gives them focus, that gives them happiness, that gives them enough melatonin, which most melatonin is produced inside of the gut to be able to sleep at night. Well, now if we can't sleep at night, then it's going to lead to the brain fog just being a more day-to-day occurrence. So a lot of this is chicken or egg, but what I'm saying is this can be a driving factor of what is causing it for you. And if you think of your symptoms as a sign of what is happening upstream, we have something as superhuman called the upstream analogy. All the way downstream, we have all the symptoms. But if we were to go upstream and we kept asking why is this happening? Why is the brain fog happening? Well, probably because I didn't get enough sleep last night. Why didn't I get enough sleep last night? Well, probably because I got a cortisol spike in the middle of the night. Well, why did I get a cortisol spike in the middle of the night? Well, I've got heavy metal mold in my body and I have some gut parasites that are happening. Well, how did those happen? Well, and we keep going enough to the root cause and we remove those things, all of a sudden the brain fog disappears. And so instead of trying to micromanage the brain fog with more caffeine, with energy drinks, with sleeping pills, with alcohol to numb the pain, we get to the root cause and then you can just start feeling better where the brain fog isn't there to begin with. So this is a paradigm shift that you have to have when switching from identity to getting to the root cause of where is this coming from. And so in order to remove the stressor from your stress bucket, think of it as the analogy as a garden that is full of weeds. In a garden that is full of weeds, step one is we just have to remove the weeds first. We're not going to plant seeds at a garden that's already full of weeds because it's just going to become a jumbled mess. So what we need to do instead is remove the weeds first. Now, those weeds are going to be the hidden stressors in your stress bucket. That could be external things like bad relationships you have to get rid of, money you're spending that you probably shouldn't, deadlines you're taking on that are too short that you have to manage. That is one thing. So maybe it's more meditation. Maybe it's more walking outside. Maybe it's more going to the gym, doing a steam sauna so you can relieve that stress. And that's typically usually more manageable. But my main focus here is those hidden stressors. Now we focus to the internal hidden ones. We remove the gut parasite. We get rid of the heavy metals. All of a sudden the body starts recalibrating and starts healing itself because our body just has more bandwidth to heal. Now we can start planting the seeds and supercharging that process. Now, if we combine those seeds with a seamless system using AI, habit mastery, tech, gadgets, streamlining your life so business and personal just streamline together like a beautiful orchestra and everything's just going in your favor, well, you're going to have no choice but to achieve superhuman, be 90 out of 100 easily at least, and then you're going to have resilient vitality. And when you have that resilient vitality, let me tell you, it is much easier to make that sale. It is much easier to achieve that relationship you're looking for. It is much easier to have circumstances come to you opposed to you chasing it because you've adopted the superhuman way. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Two options. You can apply this yourself through downloading the Superhuman Playbook down in the link below. Or if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, there's a link to do that too. Thank you so much. I hope this made sense. We'll catch you in the next video.